My folks had my 10-year-old walk 3 miles under a blazing 97-degree sun. When I spoke to them about it, the real reason for what they did left me stunned. My 82-year-old grandfather's answer no one saw coming gave my parents a teaching they'll always remember. Hey everyone. The afternoon my parents sent my son out on that long walk in extreme heat, I wasn't there to prevent it. That fact still sits heavy on me. Not from a lack of love, not because I trusted them completely, but because I never thought the people who brought me up would see causing a child discomfort as a proper way to teach, least of all my own boy. The trip was meant to be fine. Just a weekend at my parents' place, the house of my youth, with the same noisy front steps, the same yard where I once fell learning to bike. I thought it would be nice for my son to be there, to bond with his grandparents, to hear tales about the past. I had to work a double shift that Saturday, 12 hours I really needed. I'll get him Sunday morning, I told my mom early on. She let out a tired breath over the phone. You fret too much, she said. A little structure would do him good. You're too easy on him. That remark stuck with me. The weather reports had been going all week. Heat warning, drink plenty, stay inside when you can. 97 degrees looks different when you're in it, when the air is soupy and hard to breathe, when sweat doesn't help anymore, it just sits there. I packed his bag with extra care, folding clothes more neatly than normal. Another shirt, a cap, sunblock, a big water bottle that keeps things cold. Drink even if you don't feel thirsty, I reminded him. If you feel worn out, you rest. Don't just keep going. He paid close attention, nodding with that earnest look kids get when they want to show they can be responsible. I got it, Mom, he said. I'll be fine. He's 10, tall but still slender. All arms and legs, kind in a way that makes grown UPS think he's less tough than he is. When we got to my parents, the stiffness was clear right away. My dad was in the doorframe, arms folded. My mom's smile was thin, like she practiced it. What's all this? My dad asked, looking at the backpack. Just some stuff, I said lightly. My mom gave a short laugh. You pack like he's headed to camp. It's really warm out, I replied. I just want him to be ready. My dad shook his head. Back in our time, kids walked for miles and didn't make a sound. I made myself smile. He's not you, I said softly. He's a kid. That got me a look I knew too well, the one that said you're too gentle without speaking it. I bent down to hug my son. Have a good time, I told him. And don't forget what I said. He held on tight. I won't. Driving off, I tried to convince myself I was just remembering my own childhood too much. That they were firm, sure, but not mean. That they cared for him in their own manner. I wasn't right. The call came that night. It was already dark. I nearly didn't hear it because I was still at my job. Mom, he said when I picked up, his voice quiet, tinier than normal. My heart sank. What is it, honey? A pause. I could hear a TV behind him. Laughing. Normal noises that felt terribly wrong. Can you come get me? He asked. My chest felt tight. Why? Another wait. They had me walk, he said. I froze. Walk where? To the shop. How far? Quiet. About 3 miles, I think. I felt lightheaded. And you walked home? Yes. My voice trembled. Did you have water? No, he whispered. Grandma said I didn't need any. I left work right away. When I got there, I found him on the sofa, looking drained under his summer color. His t-shirt was drenched. His hair was stuck to his forehead. His eyes seemed shiny. He tried to smile. I didn't say anything, he told me. Grandpa said real boys don't say anything. That sentence broke something in me. I got into the car and turned the AC up high. I passed him water and watched him drink. You did everything right, I told him again and again. Everything. He leaned back, spent. I just wanted them to like me, he murmured. I pressed my lips together to stop the tears. At home, I was awake almost all night. Cool rags on his neck, listening to his breathing, checking for fever. As he slept on the couch, one thought kept spinning in my head. This wasn't about teaching. It was about power. I called my parents. What were you thinking? I asked, my voice unsteady. My mom sighed. You're making too much of this. My dad chuckled. He walked. He's fine. That's how kids learn. Learn what? I pressed. To show respect, he answered. Then he added, like it was nothing, being uncomfortable teaches faster. That's when my worry turned into determination. I drove over the next morning not mad, but clear-headed. My grandpa was on the porch like he always is in the early hours. 82 years old, quiet, noticing everything. He looked at my son, then at me, then at my parents. And for the first time, I saw something in his eyes I'd never seen before. Not rage, not sorrow, purpose. What my parents admitted during that talk shocked me. But what my grandfather did next would give them a lesson they'd always carry with them. The living room seemed tinier than I recalled. Not because anything had moved, but because the reality of it all finally had room to be seen. My son stood next to me, shoulders rounded, eyes on the floor like he was waiting for another judgment. I saw how he made himself small, out of the spotlight, already figuring out how to fade away around adults. That hurt deeper than anything my parents could say. My dad broke the quiet first. You're making this bigger than it is, he said, arms still crossed. He walked. Kids need to build toughness. That's how we were brought up. I looked right at him. No, I said calmly. That's how you got through. It's not the same. My mom sighed, rubbing her head. You're too upset right now, she said. Let's not make a big deal. I felt my hands close. A big deal, I repeated. You sent a 10-year-old into near 100-degree weather with no water. My dad brushed it off. He didn't pass out, did he? My son winced. That's when he spoke up. I asked to rest, he said softly. Everyone looked at him. My mom frowned. You didn't ask. You whined. He swallowed. I said my head hurt, he whispered, and I felt unsteady. The room went still. My dad waved a hand. Kids make things up. That's when my grandfather spoke. Do they? He asked. His voice wasn't raised. It didn't have to be. The weight in it filled the whole room. He leaned forward in his seat, hands on his cane. Tell me something, he said, looking straight at my dad. How much water did you give him before he left? My dad faltered. Well, and tell me, my grandfather went on, voice still even, how many breaks you told him he could take. My mom answered for him. He didn't need breaks. My grandfather nodded slowly. That's what I figured. He turned to my son. Were you scared? He asked gently. My son nodded. Yes, sir. Did you feel you'd be in trouble for speaking up? Another nod. Yes. My grandfather shut his eyes a moment. When he opened them, something was different. When I was young, he said, my father thought suffering made you a man. My parents went rigid. He had me work in the hot fields until I fell down, my grandfather continued. I didn't become tough. I became quiet. The room felt thick. I learned not to ask for help, he said. I learned to hide when I was hurting, and I learned grown-ups couldn't always be relied on. He looked at my dad. That's what you taught this boy yesterday. My dad moved uneasily. That's not what we intended. It doesn't matter what you intended, my grandfather cut in gently. It matters what he learned. Then my grandfather stood up, slow and deliberate. At 82, each move is careful, but he seemed to fill the space completely. You didn't teach discipline, he said. You taught fear. My mom started to speak. He lifted a hand. I'm not done. That alone shocked them. You waited until his mother was gone, he said evenly. You knew she'd put a stop to it. My dad's face reddened. That's not fair. It's true, my grandfather replied. He turned to my son and bent a little, coming down to his level. You did nothing wrong, he told him. Asking for water is smart. Stopping when you're dizzy is wise. Tears ran silently down my son's face. My grandfather put a hand on his shoulder. Real courage, he said, is knowing when to take care of yourself. Then he turned back to my parents. And because you crossed that line, he said, things are going to change. My mom gasped. What do you mean? My grandfather's voice was firm. You will not see this child without supervision again. The room erupted. You can't say that. That's too much. You're overreacting. My grandfather didn't raise his voice. It's already decided, he said. He looked at me. You placed your trust in them, he said quietly. They broke it. Tears finally fell down my face. I'm sorry I wasn't here, I whispered. He squeezed my hand. You're here now, he said. That's what counts. We left soon after. No yelling, no seeing, just a line that was now drawn for good. The next few weeks were hard. My parents called often, apologies mixed with reasons, guilt mixed with pushback. But the rule stayed, visits only with me there. No lectures, no hard lessons. They weren't happy about it. But that wasn't for me to fix anymore. Something shifted in my son. He stopped pretending to be brave all the time. He stopped saying sorry for being tired. One night, weeks later, he said quietly, Mom, I'm glad Grandpa heard me. I smiled through tears. Me too. Hurt doesn't build character. Fear isn't respect. Kids don't need to be harmed to grow strong. When adults mix pain with strength, they pass down hurt, not goodness. Staying quiet lets harm continue. Setting limits keeps kids safe. And sometimes the clearest voice in the room is the one that hasn't forgotten what lasting damage unkindness can do. That's the story. Thanks for listening.